Give it up for Sheila Vossough.
Thank you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. World peace is in your hands. You guys, I was just outside and there's a Mercedes with its lights on. Please don't everyone get up. Sorry. So the caption read, Sheila unveiled. This is what I look like unveiled. I could walk into Iran and they'd be like, you don't need a headscarf, you look drab enough already. You can imagine how hard it is for me to live in LA. I have a beautiful chocolate lab. I take my dog on walks in LA and people stop me and hand me money. And they're like, oh my God, here's $1, feed that animal. Here's another $1. And this is not for booze, it's to put toward a boob job. God, it's disgusting. Iranians in LA are wonderful. They've gotten such a bad rap. The only thing I can imagine is they do exaggerate a little, a tiny little bit. They go to Iran and they come back with stories like, oh my God, these women so beautiful, supermodels, manteau are tight. Christian Dior manteaus from Chanel. I'm like, what? Dior and Chanel design manteaus? They're like, of course, because before the revolution, Iran was the biggest client of Dior and Couture. And when the Ayatollahs came, suddenly their business went down. So they had to make a deal with the Ayatollahs, and yes, they're designing. And oh, and we party all night and dance, and the women at the parties are almost naked, and I swear I've heard this. There's orgies. Bekhoda. And I get so confused because, you know, you read the news. This Thursday on the BBC News talked about how the police in Iran have outlawed boots for women because they're too sexy. So I'm like, well, you know, and all these stories of executions and horrible things for, you know, people who have different opinions. And the other night I met this beautiful man. He's an Iranian actor in a beautiful film. And there was a reception after, and I went up to him and I met him and I asked him, I said, what's it like in Iran? And he said, well, if you mind your own business, they don't bother you. And then I looked at him and his lips were black, under his eyes are black, and I'm thinking, Jesus, how much opium do you have to smoke to be able to mind your own business as an artist? But let me tell you, there's a reason for it. I think that the Iranian government actually has a department, and this department researches who said what about them, and then they go after them. They're kind of like junior high school girls. You know, oh, you said that about me, I'm gonna mess you up. Except that junior high school girls throw bad punches and they pull hair. This department imprisons and hangs. And so on that note, I would like to say the Iranian government is doing a great job. And I would also like to do a public service announcement to the women of Iran. Women of Iran, please stop trying to get the hell out. Where do you think you're going? If any of these stories about your night lives are true, stay. I swear to God, when you step foot in the States, all this attention from men stops. Men here are not as horny as you're used to. And I would love to be in your position. Are you kidding? Oh my God, is my hair turning you on? It's amazing. I haven't washed it for 4 days. Let me put it away. I guess God just created me to bother you. Can you imagine me standing in the street in a car, stopping and saying Khanum Chand? I'd be like, thank you. Really? I'm gonna cry. Sir, could you move on? There's another one. Thank you. I'm an anthropologist at heart, and linguistics is part of anthropology. And I know that language and culture creates the individual. And the Farsi language and the Iranian culture creates people that are so warm and charismatic and delicious and full of hospitality, Words like قربونت برم فدات بشم قدمت رو چشم. Can't even your step on my eye. It doesn't even translate.